video games. Now, I enjoy a good chunk of games. My main draw with current games are more so towards the achievement hunting aspect of it, but once Rooster Teeth announced that they were actually making a full-fledged game, about RWBY nonetheless, you better believe I was excited. However, though the game may have come out earlier on Steam, let's just say my computer isn't exactly combat ready. Ugh, what is that? So, I myself wasn't capable of playing the game as early as most. So once they announced the console release of the game, I was even more ready and this time, fully capable of playing the game. But, is it good? Now for those of you who don't know, RWBY Grimm Eclipse started out as a fan game created by Jordan Scott. A clear fan of Rooster Teeth, Jordan cleverly released the game on April 1st, 2014. The game gained a lot of attention from the community. And rightfully so, as everyone was simply blown away by the fact that this show that everyone thought would make a great fighting game is now a fighting game. Because of the attention it had gained, Jordan was brought into Rooster Teeth to help make it a full-fledged game. And a few years later, here we are. One of the things that RWBY Grimm Eclipse has going for it, for better or for worse, is it has its own story. The events of Grimm Eclipse, as of right now, are not currently tied to the main continuity. If you're interested in knowing what the story is, be sure to check out an earlier video I made, but even though the game may have its own story, it's still not much of one. Well, currently at least. The game as of right now only has 10 missions, which each take around 20 to 30 minutes each depending on the difficulty you play it on. But the story of the game tends to be at the beginning of the mission and the end of the mission. Those are the main points in time where exposition is given to you. The dialogue in the middle tends to be things like, "What is this? I don't like what I see. Look out." They're very passive comments that nudge you along. Now, not every mission does this. Towards the final few missions, you are given more dialogue and story spaced throughout the gameplay. However, currently speaking, there isn't much of a story. So, what could they do? Well, obviously given time, there will presumably be more missions added, and thus there will be more story. However, me personally, I feel as if they added something like a cutscene or cinematic, it would add a whole new layer of rewardment to playing the single player. I'm fully aware that everyone who's working on RWBY has their hands full pushing out more volumes and such, and I'm not saying that adding cinematics to the game is an easy or even possible task, because quite frankly, I have no idea. But these are simply ideas that I feel as though could step up the game to make it that much better. As for the gameplay, it's honestly kinda generic. You have your light attack, your heavy attack, your gun, and any combination that falls in between, which honestly is not that much. Now, I've developed this bad habit when it comes to a lot of hack and slash games. If ever given the option to select the most overpowered character and use them, I will. I have played as all the characters. Some of them I found not good, others fall in the middle, and the rest are just overpowered. Weirdly enough, the person I found to be the most overpowered is not Pyrrha, it is Jean. For the most part. Jean has a very easily spammed move. You jump, and then you heavy attack. That is single-handedly the most overpowered move I have discovered. It kills creeps in one go, and if you use your ultimate increasing your damage, it will kill Beowulfs in one hit as well. It is a very easily spammed move, which I took full advantage of. If you watched that Grimm Eclipse story video, you might have noticed for most clips, I was using that move. It was a rare case that I wasn't, but that's because I knew that I was recording and didn't want the gameplay to come across with all that same move, so I was self-consciously not using that move because it's so easy and so effective. So the gameplay can get very repetitive if you're not switching the characters. And you also very quickly learn that there's not many different sound effects that are used. You especially learn this when you keep spamming the same move over and over. There's also a multiplayer mode. You can defend control centers from oncoming hordes of Grimm until it ends. It's honestly pretty fun until it just becomes repetitive. You have a few different maps you can play on. You can of course run through the campaign with friends or randoms as well. Nothing in the story or experience will change aside from the amount of Grimm that you have to fight. The game also has a prestige aspect of sorts. Instead of leveling up all the characters to the max and then prestiging, you instead have a series of tasks to complete. This in turn is both easier and harder. While it is easy to level up your characters, it can be very time consuming if you have to level up all the characters every time. However, when you are given a challenge to kill alpha Beowulfs or alpha creeps, those enemies don't appear that often. Even when farming them, I was playing for hours and still didn't complete it. As far as I'm aware, this prestige medal doesn't seem to affect the game in any way aside from you look cooler and you give off that I'm better than you vibe. Now on a lesser scale of things, you have the achievements. It's still part of the game, so I might as well talk about them. So a good chunk of the achievements are tied to the single player, which is good. However, you have this portion tied to the multiplayer, which I hate. I hate games that have multiplayer achievements because in simple terms, I have no friends. I have plenty of friends who play games, but none of which watch RWBY, let alone are going to purchase a game based on a show that they don't watch. These achievements that seem as simple as form a team, form Team Juniper, form Team RWBY, form Team Ranger. It was a stroke of luck that I even got 2 of them. However, forming a team, believe it or not, is ridiculously hard when completely up to chance. I, being the unsocial human I am not going to go into game chat to ask other people to pick team members so I can get an achievement only to be called a cuck. Achievements that require you to have multiple people I hate because I will never get them because I'm a solo player. There's an achievement to beat a horde map solo. I'm fine with that because it's a multiplayer game mode, but it can be done solo. Achievements I feel as though should be a reward for playing single player, while multiplayer comes with its own rewards. But it doesn't, and I'm going to be upset because I will probably never 100% the game anytime soon. So there's a little rant on the achievements in the game. Now, I have a very biased opinion towards this game because it was made by Rooster Teeth, and as you probably could have guessed, I'm a big fan of them. So I will continue to support them and their content that they make. So I have a very biased opinion towards this game. I myself, being a fan of Rooster Teeth and RWBY, loved this game. But I can't say that the average gamer will play it and enjoy it. I honestly believe they probably wouldn't, depending on the experience that they were expecting. So, is RWBY Grimm Eclipse good? As a fan, I would say yeah, but from the outside looking in, it's probably nothing special. So, I will simply settle with, it was okay. So how about you guys? Have you finished playing RWBY Grimm Eclipse? If so, do you think it was good? Or is it just not a good game? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're interested in more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.